Moving on to our next story now, the United Kingdom has announced a $63 million funding for millions of Rohingya refugees living in Bangladesh, now after fleeing a brutal military crackdown in Myanmar. Britain's Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab announced the $63 million aid at a UN conference. Raab and other civil rights groups urged countries to not forget the plight and misery of the world's largest persecuted group. He said, and I quote, "Today I urge the world not to turn away from the Rohingyas' suffering and to take the action necessary to allow them to safely return to their homes that they fled in terror." He said that along with providing support for the Rohingya, this aid will also help Bangladesh fight the coronavirus pandemic and its frequent natural disasters. Now, the money was pledged as a part of a virtual conference co-hosted by the UN Human Commission for Refugees, Britain and the US and European Union. Now, the human rights watchdog appealed for $1 billion aid to meet the needs of nearly 900,000 Rohingya living in Bangladesh's Cox's Bazar. Rohingya Muslims are the world's largest persecuted minority. The community finds its roots in Myanmar, former Rakhine, and the Myanmar government, on the other hand, does not recognize the ethnic group as citizens. Now, authorities claim that they are migrants from Bangladesh and refuse to even use the term Rohingya. Thousands of Rohingya fled across the Myanmar border in 2017 during a military crackdown. Myanmar is currently facing genocide charges in the International Court of Justice. Our London Bureau Chief, Mandy Clark, is live with us for more on this. Good evening to you, Mandy. It's nice to speak to you. The money that was pledged at the virtual conference, $63 million. Now, this is a significant sum, but it's earmarked to help aid the Rohingyas and also to assist Bangladesh with the COVID pandemic and the natural disasters that it has been hit by.
Yeah, it's spreading the money fairly thin. The UK has been one of the largest donors when it comes to the Rohingya crisis, and it also pointed out that they have took tough measures against the architects of the massacre and the tragedy that has happened to the Rohingya people. So this is, even though the money is being spread across it, they really want to focus on the need for more to be done for the people, especially with the COVID crisis on top, because they still remain in camps, and that we've seen when people are huddled together that COVID spreads very quickly and they don't have great access to medical care. So that's why they really want to focus on having other people also stump up more money for a forgotten group in the middle of a pandemic.
Now, Dominic Raab, in his quote, said he's urging the world not to turn away from the Rohingyas' suffering, to take the necessary action and allow them to safely return to their homes that they fled from. And of course, Bangladesh was hoping more to repatriate the Rohingyas as opposed to more aid.
Sorry, I missed your question there.
I quoted Dominic Raab urging the world not to turn away and help in repatriation. Of course, this is what Bangladesh is hoping for, furthermore, to aid.
Yes, so it very much Dominic Raab is really calling for a solution to the crisis. Money alone is not going to really fix it. They need a future plan. They need repatriation. They need to be brought back into the community. If we just throw more money at the problem, it doesn't solve the problem of camps. It doesn't solve the problem of the next generation of the Rohingya children simply not fitting into society. So it's a much wider ranging issue. Just immediate a cash injection now will not solve the problem for the future generation. So it must be looked at the whole complexity of the problem, how these people can and will be reintegrated back into their community.
Mandy, as always, thank you very much for that report.